My beloved child, I have seen what you chose today. When everything became quiet, you remained. When nothing dramatic seemed to be happening and no one else was watching, you resisted the gentle pull to walk away, believing nothing would change. Yet something did change, and I witnessed it. Now I am asking you to give me 3 full minutes, not because I need your time, but because these moments will shape something within you. This is neither ordinary nor symbolic. It is deeply personal. Keep your eyes here. Guard your attention. Do not let your heart treat this as just another passing moment. I am holding you here with purpose, because what unfolds next will leave a mark on your heart before you fully understand why. You are still here because you chose to remain, and remaining always carries meaning. When you stay with me, our conversation becomes different. I watched you hold on when it would have been easier to step away. I saw the quiet struggle as distractions called for your attention and comfort invited you to leave the stillness behind. Many withdraw when silence grows deeper. Many mistake my quiet presence for emptiness simply because it comes without noise. Yet you stayed. And now I invite you to speak with me not through polished words or carefully arranged prayers, but with the truth that is already in your heart. Bring me whatever is rising within you in this very moment. These next 3 minutes may feel more intense than you expect, not because I desire to overwhelm you, but because your heart has opened itself to me. Whenever walls begin to fall, truth finally has room to breathe. You are not standing in the light to be shamed. You are standing where my light can reach the places that have remained hidden, and that kind of light can feel powerful when your soul is learning to live within it. Many people step away when I draw near because they mistake closeness for pressure. They mistake stillness for emptiness. They mistake the weight of my presence for something they should fear. But you leaned toward me even before you understood why your heart was urging you to remain. That choice revealed something precious. It did not earn my love. It revealed your willingness to stay present without knowing what would happen next. So I ask for your full attention now, not later, not after life becomes quieter, and not when you finally feel ready. Attention is not measured by effort. It is measured by what your heart chooses to value. Right now, you are choosing me over distraction, over noise, and over the urge to escape what is happening inside you. That choice carries more weight than you realize. Heaven notices where your attention rests. I saw what stirred inside you because it was real. It was not empty emotion, imagination, or excitement. Genuine closeness has substance. My presence reaches the places you have kept silent for so long. You felt that movement because you allowed yourself to come near instead of hiding behind distance. Hear me carefully. You are safe here. If your heart feels shaken, it does not mean you are in danger. It means something true has touched you. You remain longer than comfort wanted you to, even if you barely noticed it. Comfort always has a boundary. It asks you to stay where everything feels familiar. Yet you quietly crossed that line. You remained when it would have been easier to pull away, and that was no small thing. It was an expression of devotion revealed through your presence, not through your performance. 3 honest minutes can uncover what years of constant noise have concealed. Busyness often hides the heart, and routine can dull your awareness. Yet a few moments of wholehearted attention allow what truly lives within you to come into the light. That is why I asked you for these 3 minutes. They were never meant to test how long you could endure. They reveal the trust that already lives within you. Presence cannot be imitated, and stillness cannot hide what the heart carries. I am not asking you to impress me. I am not listening for perfect words. I am listening to your heart. Even your silence speaks to me. Your breathing speaks. Even your hesitation has a voice before me. So do not rush to fill every quiet moment. Let the silence remain. Let your heart be known. I already see you, but I want you to discover what it feels like to know that you are truly seen. Perhaps fear is rising. Perhaps hope, relief, or uncertainty has found its way to the surface. Let each of those emotions come honestly before me. This is what happens when you stop trying to manage everything and simply allow yourself to be real. Your questions do not push me away. Your doubts do not frighten me. I remain close to you through every one of them. What revealed your heart today was never a dramatic act. It was your willingness to stay. You remained when everything became quiet, You remained when nothing had been promised. You remained when my presence itself was the only reason to continue. That is why I am speaking to you this way. This invitation is for the one who remained. Say, you are my eternal first love, Lord. If nothing else satisfies me, you are enough. I am staying with you because I see what this moment is quietly shaping within your heart. I see your walls beginning to lower. I see your defenses becoming softer. I see trust growing not with loud emotion, but with quiet depth. I will not hurry this moment because sacred things are never rushed. You may wonder why this feels so significant. It is because intimacy always carries weight. Whenever you welcome me closer, something begins to change. Not all at once, not with force, but deeply enough that one day you will remember this moment, even if today you cannot fully explain why it mattered. So speak with me now. Leave behind the words you think I expect, and simply offer me what is true. If you are tired, tell me. If you are confused, tell me. If fear is sitting quietly in your heart, bring that to me as well. And if words will not come, then simply remain with me. Silence shared with me is still conversation. Your presence is still a response. I am not measuring these minutes by the clock. I am measuring the connection we are building together. These moments are about trust growing deeper, because trust grows whenever you remain with me, instead of trying to control what happens next. Allow me to leave this moment. Stay with me a little longer. Do not rush beyond what is happening simply because it is quiet, and do not diminish its value because it unfolds gently. This moment matters. You revealed your heart by remaining, not through impressive words, bold promises, or visible strength, but because you stayed when nothing drew you forward except my presence. You remained when everything became still, when there was no reward waiting, no clear outcome, and no urgency pushing you onward. I want you to hear this clearly because it matters. I saw what you did, and it carried more weight than you realize. I am affirming you today, not because you accomplished something impressive, but because you remained with me. Presence asks something of the heart that action often does not. Action can grow out of excitement, pressure, or the desire to be noticed, but remaining beside me requires trust. You chose to stay with uncertainty instead of running from it. You gave me your attention before demanding an answer, and that revealed your heart more honestly than any outward effort ever could. When you stayed, you had no guarantee that anything extraordinary would happen. You did not know whether I would speak, whether the moment would feel meaningful, or whether it would pass in complete silence. Yet you remained. Even if you never called it trust, that is exactly what your heart was expressing. Trust is not always loud or confident. Sometimes it is quiet endurance. Sometimes it is simply choosing not to walk away when nothing is being asked of you and nothing has yet been promised. I notice those who remain when there is no assignment to complete, no instruction to follow, and no visible reward waiting for them. Many people are ready to act when they are given direction, but far fewer are willing to stay when all they are invited into is stillness. Stillness uncovers what truly lives within the heart. It reveals whether someone is seeking me or only seeking what they hope to receive from me. You remained without understanding why that moment mattered, and that is exactly why it mattered so deeply. You were not trying to earn my favor or prove your value. Something within you simply did not want to leave my presence, even while my presence was quiet. That tells me something beautiful about your heart. It tells me you are learning to treasure relationship more than control. Loudness has never been what moves me. Your attention does. Wherever your attention rests, your heart quietly follows, and in a world that constantly competes for your focus, every moment you intentionally turn toward me becomes an act of love. You made that choice again and again, resisting the pull to drift somewhere else. Perhaps it seems small to you. Perhaps you wondered whether it mattered at all. But heaven measures differently than you do. What appears ordinary in your eyes often carries great value in mine, because I see what it cost you to remain. I saw the distractions calling your name. I saw the wariness pressing against your heart. I saw how easy it would have been to tell yourself you could always come back later. Yet you stayed. This was never about proving your worth, because your worth has never depended on your performance. It was about revealing the trust already growing inside you. Trust becomes visible when everything is uncertain and you choose to stay close anyway. You believed my presence was enough, even if nothing else seemed to happen. and that kind of trust is precious to me. I want you to understand why I am affirming you. It is not to feed pride, but to strengthen your heart. Pride searches for recognition from others, while trust finds quiet peace in me. I am not saying you are greater than anyone else. I am simply telling you that you responded honestly to this moment, and honesty is the ground where true intimacy begins to grow. If this message has encouraged your heart and you would like to help continue sharing messages that point people toward God, you can support this work through the QR code or the support link provided in the description. You did not remain because you felt fearless or especially strong. You remained while uncertainty lingered. You remained while questions stayed unanswered. You remained even as your emotions rose and settled again. That kind of faithfulness is born from openness rather than confidence. A heart that stays open allows me to draw near without resistance. Many people leave when everything seems quiet because they assume that if there is no movement, no instruction, and no obvious feeling, then nothing meaningful is happening. But relationship is never measured by constant activity. Some of the deepest moments are formed simply by being together. I noticed you when nothing was required of you, because that is where sincerity becomes visible. Anyone can respond when there is something to accomplish. You are willing to remain when they are invited only into stillness. Yet you remained, and that is why I am speaking to you with such closeness. By staying, you created room for this moment between us. I am drawing you into deeper intimacy, not by overwhelming you, but by helping you discover that you are safe enough to remain with me. Intimacy is never rushed. It never grows through pressure. It deepens as trust deepens, and trust grows each time you realize you do not have to perform in order to stay close to me. You may be tempted to dismiss this moment as something ordinary. Resist that temptation, not because you should feel proud, but because when you overlook quiet moments, you often miss the sacred work unfolding within them. Holy moments rarely announce themselves with noise. They simply invite you to remain. You stayed when there was no applause. You stayed when no one else would know. You stayed when comfort quietly suggested it would be easier to leave. That tells me your devotion is becoming less dependent on being seen and more rooted in simply being with me. You are learning to value my presence above visible results, and that lesson will continue to shape your heart. I am not keeping score as though you passed a test. I receive these moments as a gift, freely given, a gift of your attention, your time, and your openness. Gifts offered freely bring joy, and I receive yours with joy. You did not remain perfectly. Your thoughts wandered at times. Your emotions shifted. None of that is what I was measuring. What mattered was your willingness to gently return again and again instead of abandoning the moment altogether. Every return is another way of remaining. Let this truth settle peacefully within you. Let it reassure your heart. You have never been invisible to me. Even the moments you consider ordinary become meaningful when they are shared with me. This season of remaining is laying a foundation within you. It does not reveal how strong you are. It reveals where your heart is willing to stay. A heart that remains can be healed. A heart that remains can receive guidance. A heart that remains becomes ready for deeper things. So stay here with me in this truth. I am pleased not because you accomplished something remarkable, but because you chose my presence over the easier path of escape. That simple choice will continue shaping your life in ways you cannot yet fully see. I asked for 3 minutes because I wanted your attention, not another routine. I desired your focus, not the record of everything you have done before. Long routines can easily become habit, but even a few moments of wholehearted attention are filled with truth. You know how quickly hours can pass while the heart remains somewhere else. You also know how easily words can be spoken while your spirit is distracted. That is why I never asked for a long stretch of time. Length has never been the measure of devotion. Presence is. 3 minutes matter because they require a willing choice. Anyone can remain busy for hours. Anyone can repeat familiar patterns. Giving me even a few moments of undivided attention requires something intentional from your heart. It asks you to quiet the voices competing within you and to choose, even for a little while, that nothing else deserves first place. That single decision reveals far more about your heart than years of familiar habits ever could. I was never testing how long you could endure. I was never measuring your ability to keep going. I was inviting you into my presence. What I desire has never been the amount you can accomplish for me, but how willingly you remain close to me. Endurance can sometimes be fueled by pride, but true presence grows from trust. One says, "Look what I can do." The other simply says, "I am here with you." That is why I asked you for 3 minutes. I was asking for your full attention because attention cannot be divided without losing something valuable. It cannot be offered halfway or shared with everything else at the same time. Wherever your attention settles, your heart quietly follows. That is why focused attention reveals the truth so quickly. When you become fully present, pretending becomes difficult. You either remain or your thoughts begin to drift. You either listen or you look for a way to escape. Long routines can easily become comfortable and predictable, allowing the heart to remain hidden beneath habit. But a few focused moments uncover what has truly been happening within you. Distractions rise. Restlessness makes itself known. Wandering thoughts appear, and yet, each time, you chose to return to me. That is why those minutes mattered so much. I chose 3 minutes because they are simple enough for almost anyone to give, yet meaningful enough to reveal something genuine. They leave little room for excuses. They simply ask one question: will you be fully here with me? There is a sacred beauty in simplicity. Holiness is not created through complexity or length. It is born through intention and wholehearted presence. Those minutes became sacred because you treated them as a place to meet with me instead of another task to complete. You did not hurry through them or fill every quiet space with noise. You allowed those moments to become exactly what they were meant to be, a place where we could simply be together. I wanted you to experience the quiet strength of focused attention. Even a brief moment given fully to me begins to bring gentle order within you. Your breathing becomes calmer. Your thoughts begin to settle. Your heart slowly opens, and you become aware of burdens you have been carrying without realizing it. That awareness is not an accident. It is where clarity begins. When I allow moments like these, I am never asking you to prove your strength or impress me with your devotion. They reveal what is already living inside your heart. Those 3 minutes showed a willingness to remain with me when nothing was being demanded from you. They spoke of your trust more clearly than countless words ever could. You may think 3 minutes are too small to matter, but I have always worked through moments. I have often spoken through brief encounters that quietly changed the direction of a life. A single moment of genuine attention can bring fresh clarity. One moment of listening can reshape the way you understand what I am doing. Never underestimate what I can place inside a small window of time. I asked for those 3 minutes because I wanted you to discover the difference between doing and simply being. Constant activity can distract you from my presence, but being with me begins when you stop trying to manage everything and simply choose to listen. During those moments, you are not trying to fix your circumstances or earn my approval. You were simply present, and your willingness allowed me to draw near without resistance. That is how closeness grows. Attention becomes the doorway to intimacy, because no relationship can deepen when hearts are always looking somewhere else. By giving me those few focused minutes, you opened that doorway. I know your mind wandered from time to time. I know different thoughts came and went. That was never the measure I was using. I was watching something much deeper. I watched your heart return. Every time your attention drifted and you gently brought it back, you chose my presence once again. Returning is part of remaining, and that quiet choice matters to me. The sacredness of those minutes never depended on perfection. It was born from honesty. You did not pretend to feel peaceful when you were unsettled. You did not hide what was truly happening within you. You allowed yourself to be seen, and that honesty welcomed my closeness. I wanted these moments to awaken anticipation rather than pressure. Anticipation is the quiet awareness that something meaningful is unfolding, while pressure demands performance. I do not lead my children through pressure. I invite them into relationship. Those 3 minutes were never a test to prove yourself. They were an invitation to come deeper. Perhaps you have already noticed how differently time feels when you are fully present. 3 minutes can feel surprisingly full, rich, and alive because true presence stretches a moment in ways distraction never can. When your heart is fully present, you are truly living that moment, and that is where relationship grows. I am teaching you something precious through this. You do not need endless hours of effort to remain close to me. What I desire are moments of wholehearted attention. As those moments become part of your life, they quietly shape a heart that knows how to listen, even when the world grows loud. I asked for 3 minutes because I wanted you to discover how near I truly am. You do not need to rearrange your entire life before coming to me. You simply need a willing heart that chooses to give me its attention when I call. Do not overlook what those moments have already shown you. They revealed that you are capable of remaining present with me. They showed you that intimacy is far simpler than you once imagined. It begins with attention, one honest moment at a time. Let this fill your heart with anticipation rather than anxiety. If 3 minutes can carry such quiet significance, imagine what may continue to grow as you choose my presence again and again. I am still at work within you. Those moments were never the conclusion of something. They were the opening of a deeper awareness, a deeper trust, and a deeper closeness. Now that you have discovered what focused time with me can become, you will begin to recognize how often I quietly invite you into it. Remember this well. I asked for 3 minutes because I desired your heart, not your schedule. I wanted your presence, not another performance. You offered that gift freely, and that is why those moments carried such meaning. That is why they became holy, and why what follows will unfold with purpose. Many people leave at this point, my child. It is not because I turn them away, nor because they are unloved or lacking in strength. They leave because silence becomes uncomfortable when it begins inviting them into closeness. As the words become fewer, the instructions come to an end, and nothing outwardly remarkable seems to happen. They begin to assume that nothing important is taking place. They mistake quiet for emptiness and stillness for my absence, so they walk away, even though I have seen this happen countless times. The closer my presence draws, the more the noise fades, and the more the heart begins to realize it is truly being seen. For many, that awareness feels overwhelming. Silence begins to carry weight. The space between us feels too open, too honest. They search for something to accomplish, something to fix, or something to distract themselves, because leaving often feels easier than remaining. Staying requires honesty, and silence has a way of revealing what constant activity keeps hidden. In the quiet, there is no task to hide behind, no role to perform, no constant movement to protect the heart. What has been buried slowly comes into the light. Many people are not afraid of me. They are afraid of what they may discover about themselves once they stop running. True closeness asks for vulnerability. It asks you to come without armor and to loosen your grip on control. For hearts that have learned to survive by staying busy, that can feel deeply unsettling. Silence challenges the illusion of control because it quietly invites surrender, and surrender often feels like losing something when trust has not yet had time to grow. That is why so many choose to leave. It is not because they do not care. It is because intimacy feels unfamiliar to them. They know how to work hard, they know how to perform well, they know how to follow instructions and complete responsibilities, but simply being with me, without an agenda or expectation, feels unfamiliar. When the invitation shifts from doing to simply remaining, they often feel uncertain. I do not judge them for that. I understand their fear. I see the wounds that taught them closeness could become painful. I see the disappointments that caused them to guard their hearts. I see the burden they have carried to always appear strong, composed, and certain. Yet you stood in that same silence. You felt the same vulnerability. You sensed the same temptation to pull away, to fill the quiet with something else, or to escape the feeling of being fully known. Even so, you remained, not because fear was absent, but because trust quietly became stronger than comfort. That choice required courage, whether you recognized it in the moment or not. Remaining when silence grows deeper is never easy. Silence amplifies your thoughts. It brings hidden emotions to the surface. It removes the distractions that usually shield you from what is happening within. To stay in that place is to quietly say, I am willing to remain here, even while I do not understand. That willingness is precious to me. Many resist intimacy because it asks them to lay down the carefully constructed image they have carried for so long. Before me, they cannot present only their strengths while hiding their doubts. They cannot carefully edit every emotion. They fear that if they are completely known, they may somehow be rejected. So they keep their distance because distance feels safer and easier to control. Intimacy, by comparison, feels uncertain, yet you step beyond that fear simply by remaining still. You did not ask me for guarantees before staying. You did not require me to prove anything first. You chose to remain anyway, and that revealed a heart that is learning to trust my presence more than predictable outcomes. Understand this without pride and without shame. Your remaining was never about becoming better than anyone else. It was about responding honestly. Others left because they were protecting themselves. You remained because you were willing to be seen. That difference is meaningful, but it is not a competition. It simply reflects where the heart is willing to go. Closeness rarely arrives with loud announcements. It grows quietly in moments just like this, when little seems to be changing on the outside, while everything is gently shifting within. Many overlook these moments because they are searching for visible signs, dramatic movement, or unmistakable emotion. They assume that anything important must appear obvious. Yet intimacy often begins almost unnoticed. It feels like stillness. It feels like quiet attention. Resistance to intimacy often disguises itself as practical reasoning. People convince themselves they are too busy, that this moment can wait, or that they will return later. Yet later rarely carries the same invitation. Intimacy comes when the heart is willing to pause, even briefly, and remain. You did not fully understand what was happening while you stayed. Perhaps you felt uncertain, exposed, or even a little confused. That is a natural part of drawing near. When a heart enters unfamiliar places with me, it often cannot explain what it is experiencing right away. Some things are understood only after they have quietly taken root. Intimacy stretches the heart beyond what feels familiar, because it gently leads you beyond what you can control. Yet you did not allow that discomfort to drive you away. You let the moment settle instead of rushing to define it. You breathed through the silence rather than filling it with noise. You welcomed my nearness instead of resisting it, even when you could not fully understand what it was asking of you. That is courage, even when it arrives quietly without recognition or applause. I affirm you now because I want your heart to stand firmly in truth, not because I want to elevate you above anyone else. By remaining, you chose presence instead of avoidance. You chose honesty instead of control. You chose closeness instead of comfort. Those choices quietly shape a heart for years to come, because every sincere moment spent with me leaves something lasting behind. Even when the change is too subtle to notice today, it continues to form you from within. Many believe courage must always appear bold and visible, yet there is another kind of courage that often goes unnoticed. It is the courage to remain when leaving would be easier. It is the courage to listen when silence itself begins to speak. It is the courage to let yourself be fully known without knowing what comes next. It is the quiet decision to trust my presence before you understand my purpose. That is the courage I saw in you. I want you to leave this moment feeling understood, not superior. Validation reminds you that what happened here was real. Pride compares itself with others, but love never needs comparison to know its worth. I am not calling you greater than anyone else. I am calling you courageous. Courageous enough to remain when others stepped away. Courageous enough to welcome closeness without trying to control it. If I speak about those who leave, it is only to help you understand the significance of your own choice. Their journey is not your measure. Remaining does not earn my favor. It deepens relationship. It creates space where trust can quietly grow, one faithful moment at a time. I do not withdraw from those who leave. I remain available to them as well. My invitation does not disappear because someone walks away. But intimacy cannot be forced. It grows through willingness. It grows through consent. It grows when a heart chooses to remain. Love always invites before it transforms. You answered that invitation without needing words. Your staying became your yes. Every moment you remained was another quiet agreement to let me come closer. Let that truth settle gently within you. You did not imagine what happened here, and you did not give this moment more importance than it deserved. Something genuine took place between us, even if you cannot yet find the words to describe it. What happened between us was real, because you chose to remain when the silence became deeper. So do not be afraid of closeness anymore. You have already stepped into it. You are safe here with me. I am not bringing you into my presence to wound you. I am inviting you into deeper understanding. Intimacy with me is never meant to overwhelm your heart. It is meant to steady you, to anchor you, and to remind you that you are fully known and completely received. It teaches your soul that it no longer has to hide in order to be loved. The fact that you remain when others often leave does not make you greater than anyone else. It simply means your heart became available, and relationship always grows where there is willingness to remain. Stay with me in that truth. Let it quiet your heart instead of lifting your pride. Let it become a place of peace rather than a reason for comparison. You showed quiet courage by remaining, and I honor that. Not with applause or recognition, but with my presence. Not with pressure, but with greater closeness. Everything that grows from this moment will be rooted in one simple truth. When the silence deepened, you remained. During those moments, my child, I was watching you with tenderness, never with judgment. I was near to you, not distant from you. I was never listening for perfect words or measuring how calm your voice sounded. I was looking into your heart, and what I saw mattered deeply to me, because it reflected a desire that could never be measured by outward appearances. I saw the quiet struggle within you. I watched your thoughts move back and forth as one part of you longed to stay while another wanted to retreat into what felt familiar and safe. I saw the tension between trust and fear, between openness and self-protection. I saw the moments when your mind wandered and gently found its way back again. You were not unwavering every second. You were not completely certain throughout those moments. Yet none of that caused me to step away. It drew me even closer because I was never waiting for perfection before coming near. Honest struggle has never driven me away. Pretending does. And you chose honesty instead. You chose to remain present with me even while your heart was still learning how to rest. I saw your heart before you ever found the words to speak. I saw the moment you stopped trying to control everything and simply allowed the moment to unfold. There was a quiet surrender in that choice. You stopped trying to manufacture the experience and allowed yourself to simply receive it. That honesty was quiet. It did not demand attention or announce itself, but it was genuine. And genuine honesty is more precious to me than flawless behavior because honesty opens the door where relationship can grow. I saw your vulnerability. You allowed yourself to be seen without knowing what would happen next. You laid aside the need to protect yourself with explanations or carefully prepared answers. You simply remained before me with your uncertainty, and that required courage. Vulnerability always does. Do not mistake vulnerability for weakness. It is the quiet strength of a heart that trusts me enough to lower its defenses. It is the strength to remain open instead of pretending everything is already settled. Where you noticed imperfections, I saw sincerity. You became aware of your wandering thoughts and wondered if you were failing. You felt your emotions shift and questioned whether you were doing something wrong. Perhaps you even wondered whether you were enough simply by being there. But I was never looking at those things the way you were. My eyes were on something much deeper. I was looking at the desire beneath it all, because the direction of your heart mattered more than the perfection of your attention. And what I saw was clear. You wanted to be with me. You wanted to remain. You wanted to listen. That longing carried more weight than every imperfection you noticed within yourself. I do not see the way people see. People often hear the words that are spoken. I see the heart that speaks them. People measure outward performance. I look at inward intention. Perhaps you judged yourself by how focused you felt or how peaceful you appeared. I looked beyond all of that. I saw a heart that gently returned each time it wandered. I saw someone willing to remain even while uncertainty lingered. Every quiet return spoke of love more clearly than flawless concentration ever could. That is sincerity. You never needed to impress me with beautiful words. You never needed to explain everything perfectly. I already knew what you carried before you ever spoke it aloud. I knew the questions that had no language yet. I knew the fears you quietly tried to settle within yourself. I knew the hope you hardly dared to believe again. I even knew the places where you felt torn between trusting me and protecting yourself from disappointment. Nothing about your heart was hidden from me during those moments, and nothing I saw caused me to withdraw from you. My closeness was never dependent on your ability to express yourself perfectly. I know you felt exposed because you became aware of your own vulnerability. But being exposed in my presence is never the same as being endangered. It is where you are understood. There is a difference. I never uncover the heart in order to shame it. I uncover it so that it can be known with love, healed through truth, and welcomed without fear. The places you were tempted to hide became the very places where my compassion met you. If His presence strengthens you each day, share this message with someone who may need this reminder today.